Ready. We're going to wait. Hey everyone, thanks for attending. We're going to give it a few minutes, just to fill the room up, because there's a few people late. But in the meantime, we'll do a quick introduction to who both Marion and I are. So I'm John. So I'm the Managing Director of Roast, which is our performance marketing agency in the TP Group. So within that is paid search, paid social, display, all your paid media, and then also SEO, content, analytics, and CX and CRM. So that's me, and then I'll let Marion introduce herself as well.
Good morning. So I'm Marion Gould. I'm an account director for Microsoft Advertising. I'm working for Microsoft for the last 2 years, but I'm in this industry for the last 12 years now, and I'm very happy to be talking to you today.
So again, while we're just waiting for everyone to join, so this is the first of our roasting sessions, which we set up to run over the next few months to talk to a variety of media platforms about changes in the industry, obviously the bigger questions around COVID, what's going on. So thank you for coming to the first one. So they'll probably be about 25 minutes long. Please do feel free to pop questions in the question chat box, and we'll come to them at the end. Yeah, thanks for attending. Hopefully it'll be a useful session for everyone. So I'll just give it another minute before we kick off properly. Okay, Tina, should we get going? So, as I said, this is the first of our sessions on roasting, so very much talking to partners about what advertisers can do in the current situation, what we see coming down the road. So Marion has joined us from Microsoft Advertising. So a bit of context with Microsoft being always been a great partner for driving high quality traffic. Yeah, we all know it's a smaller part of the bigger pie when you look compared to Google, but they will have tools, tech, capabilities beyond what Google does. And yeah, over the years, definitely been a very good partner for driving high quality traffic, low CPA. So we thought it'd be useful to start with. So the main thing we're going to be chatting about today is how do we actually all plan for what's coming in the next, let's say in the UK, 2-3 months. We're slowly, day by day coming out of lockdown. As an agency, anecdotally, we know that each time there's a lifting of restrictions, there is a surge of advertiser confidence, of user confidence. Obviously, it's very vertical specific, but we do see upticks every time Boris lets us go outside a bit more. So when you look at the roadmap that the UK especially has got in the next couple of months, we know there's going to be change coming. Hopefully not as seismic as we saw this time last year, and graphs going the opposite way. But that's very much what we're covering today. So to start things off, Marion, I mean, from Bing's point of view, what have been the big sort of trends that you've seen in the last year? Under the world of COVID, what sort of metrics have changed? Investment, cost of traffic, spend, things like that.
Yes, so it has been a very interesting year, I think, for everybody, unprecedented year, I can even say. I think we have seen different trends. I mean, the first one, back in March 2020, for the first lockdown, we have seen that, people were kind of shocked at what's happened, we were not ready for that. So we have seen that actually people, most of them, like our clients, they pull out spend. They stop spending just because, the main reason is that we don't know what was happening. And also, no one wanted to take benefits of this tragedy. So it has been like a bit of a shock. And yeah, the spend and the searches went a little bit down. But the thing that we have seen for the second lockdown actually is very interesting, is to see that actually people, they wanted to actually get better at it, if I can say that, and just start spending again, and actually created like a strong brand awareness, you know, like I think, I mean, we have seen that the brand is even more important now than ever. I mean, we have seen that in our clients, 85% of them will go for a brand that they trust and they believe in. So I think that especially like our clients, they really wanted, I mean, to come back for the second London, and they were ready for it, because even if they were more like under shock in the first lockdown, I think actually they have been very agile, and they were ready for the second one, because they had maybe target to hit for the year, and they had maybe like 4 months left, so they had to be on top of it.
Perfect. Good. Again, we've seen big changes in agents as a centralized agency across lots of clients, where investment in things like branding has gone up, while performance media has maybe declined. Things like web dev and SEO have really kicked on massively, because people, it's easy to stop your media spend, very quickly. Whereas things like brand awareness, site quality are going to be of value no matter what the world's doing. Okay, so in terms of specific verticals, I know obviously you look at high street retail, travel are going to be the real outliers. They struggled the most, understandably. How the different verticals fared? How financial services compared to the average compared, for example?
Yeah, I think, I mean, we can talk about finance services, and we have a good example actually for that, because as I said that at first, I mean, people were maybe a bit shocked and they stopped spending. Actually, the vertical and the company that has been rewarded is that people that actually they took risk, and they have been very agile to create like new strategy and innovated. And we have this example in France of insurance aggregator Le Furet. Actually, they keep pushing their strategy even during like COVID time, and they keep like trying actually and having like a new strategy, and actually that's kind of a strategy that pay off at the end, and they see like good result, and they were able actually to target new audiences because more you are trying new products, you are able actually to reach the right audience that is actually in market. And I would say also for another vertical like retail, I mean, we know that actually, I mean, a lot of e-com are like doing well at the moment, but I want also to say that it's like a strong strategy how they managed to get the supply chain following, because I mean, actually they got a lot of demand, but more than usual. So they had to be very agile and make sure that they have a strong strategy to be able to cover all the demand that was there.
Perfect. Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. I think I'm sure we've all pretty sat waiting for delivery to come in from Germany or somewhere that isn't around the corner for weeks longer than usual. So in terms of delving into the more specifics of how brands have, I suppose, ridden the crests and the peaks and the troughs of lockdown, out of lockdown, in terms of the specific tactics they've gone for within the platform, how have people planned well and set themselves up to win, I suppose, or mitigate risk, whichever way it may be?
Yeah, I think, I mean, as I said, I feel like the way that people and our clients, they were able to be very open-minded and create strategy. I mean, I'm going to take this Swiss example, Hair Shop. I'm sorry about my accent, but that's at first it's like a salon. They are used to sell their hair product through their like salon that they have in Switzerland, and they have been agile enough to be like very open-minded and say, look, I mean, we are in this situation. All the hairdressers are closed at the moment. What do we need? And I think we all pass by this stage, being in lockdown, not having any hairdresser. They start actually selling like their product online. So instead of being like a pure store retailers, they like make their main multi-channel basically, and mainly online channel being like very strong. And also they took the opportunity as Microsoft Advertising open shopping campaigns in Switzerland. So I mean, they just like try it, and actually it's worked, because I think that if you are trying and you are trying to reach the right audience, because I think that the audience also changed for our clients. I mean, you have like so you need to use like some automation that we like, some product like DSA, LSA, just to make sure that actually you reach the audience. Like you have like a pool in front of you. You need to make sure that actually you are in touch with these people.
Perfect. So I mean, on that, I mean, we've seen a lot of businesses have had to go through relatively sharp and quick digital transformation just to survive as businesses. You've touched on a few points there. How have you seen that sort of manifest itself in the accounts of advertisers lent more into the bells and whistles of their Bing accounts and the more sophisticated setup?
Yeah, I think, we definitely a change in the way that people are managing their PPC accounts. I have to say that in the world that we are now, it's very hard to predict. Even us, as Microsoft, we try, to help with insight and to support our clients. We have a COVID-19 hub where you get all the insight. We have a guide also. So we try to guide our clients with insight, but definitely it's unpredictable. You need to follow the government announcement, and you need to make sure that actually, everything can change in a day, so I think we are definitely pushing our clients to use the automation to make sure that actually they are giving the place for how tools as I said, DSA, LSA, or any other product to make sure that we are actually doing this work for them, but actually the human touch is even more important than ever, and they can focus on the strategy. So we give the time to your team to focus on the strategy while we are taking care of the automation.
We've definitely seen it. I think if everyone casts their minds back to, let's say, 5 years ago, as Bing, Facebook, Google increasingly brought out automated solutions, be it dynamic search, for example, there's always a reticence, logic, the automation can't keep up with the speed of change. But we've definitely seen it this year, where actually we can't keep up with humans can't keep up with the speed of change, and actually having strong algorithms managing that workload helps significantly, because, as you say, it then allows us to keep an eye on announcements, international changes, the graphs of COVID going up and down, and plan around that. So on that sense, anecdotally, uplift of usage of automation increased significantly in the last year?
Yeah, we definitely have seen a huge uplift in terms of automation. We have, for example, Hotel Chocolat that use a lot of automation tools, and to be able to have a very strong audiences coming from their campaigns. And we are seeing that across all of our clients, because, as I said, definitely we need to make sure that actually people, they have time to work on the strategy. And also, if I can get back how product change in the last, you were talking about 5 years, but I know that, for example, some people used to be scared about using DSA, but now at Microsoft Advertising, we have DSA with static headlines. So meaning that you are avoiding any branding issue or editorial issue that you were having before. So I think also the technology give you more safety in terms of using automation that it used to be in the past.
Gotcha, perfect. So you've mentioned the Microsoft sort of COVID hub a few times. So this is a centralized resource for advertisers and whatnot to look at. So just tell us a bit more about what's in there. Obviously people are pretty planning their back to normal budgets and looking for trends and stuff. So what sort of information can advertisers and agencies find in there to help them navigate the next 2-3 months of turbulence, let's say?
So you will find all our last trend, according to the vertical you are, and where, maybe you have more search on some keywords, how some vertical are doing, what is the trending search term at the moment. And so I think also, if you are listening to us right now and you have an account team, please feel free to reach out to your account team and ask them actually what kind of insight you have for us. We have this hub, and I don't know if we can share the link maybe later on, but I think that's a great resources and you can have it. But if you have an account team, please ask them to share with you insight, because I think having insight, and the way I'm working with my clients right now, I'm trying to monitor with them in a bi-weekly basis, saying, okay, look, that's the trend that we are seeing on our platform, so that's how you should actually change your strategy in the future. And And especially, I mean, to give you an example right now, I mean, I'm working with some home and garden clients that actually are very curious to see what's going to happen with travel, because when travel will come back, I mean, maybe the budget will move from home and garden to travel. So that's why I think it's very important to have this data according to your specific vertical and even sub-vertical. And that's what you will find on this Microsoft COVID app.
Perfect. And so for those advertisers that understandably may have reduced spend in Q1 this year because of COVID, how are you seeing them plan to sort of elevate themselves back or escalate their spend back to, I say normal, the new normal, sorry. How are people sort of setting themselves up to and looking at trends, data to plan ahead?
Yeah, I think, I mean, it's very interesting because even I think how job changed, because before we were like doing planning for 3 months and then 6 months and even sometimes a year. Right now it's going to be more like, okay, a month, like we are focused on this month. So I think, I mean, we are working very closely with our clients to have like a very granular strategy and understand the audience, because I think like even more than before, like knowing your audience and being able actually, I mean, we are not anymore just like when the search is just like a little component of the strategy. I think now like the search is like part of your full digital strategy, and you want to be able to touch your clients during the full journey. So from the awareness phase to actually the remarketing phase. So that's why, I mean, and actually how product right now are able to follow like during the full journey of your customer, to be in touch with them. And I will say also something that is very important is that maybe it's a French expression, but you should always, I mean, you should never put all your eggs in the same basket. You should make sure that actually you know where is your audience, and you know when you will be able to touch them. And that's where we are working and being very like deep into like advice in terms of strategy, to make sure that actually we know who is the audience and when we will be able to touch them until they convert, and then retarget them to make sure that they will come back to you again.
Well, I think vast majority of industries, but outside of essential utilities and things like that, the assumption going forward is consideration periods will be elongated. Purchasing power, let's be honest, the next year is going to be reduced, unfortunately. So yeah, we're seeing this across the board of it's very doing search and isolation is going to leave you quite exposed, because your consumers are going to be browsing content elsewhere, watching videos elsewhere on different platforms, spending more time on LinkedIn, for example, and YouTube, etc. Obviously, you guys have got the integration with LinkedIn. So that's something we're seeing. And I suppose, very conscious that, as I said at the start, you guys quite often have capabilities that are different to Google. You very much match their key components and tech. So what are some of the areas that maybe some of the audience haven't had updates on in the last few months that you've rolled out that maybe above and beyond what Google do themselves?
Yes, so I mean, we have like actually several features that Google doesn't have yet. So the first one will be the Microsoft Audience Network, and I think it's a very powerful product. So it's our native offer, but I think it's relevant to talk about that even like when we are talking actually about search, because when you see like the stats about it are just amazing, and I think that all of my clients should use it and all people using Microsoft advertising. And the reason why is very simple, is that, I mean, if you are like a finance services, if you add this feature on top of your search campaigns, you will get plus 25% click lift post exposure. If you are a retailer, this number is going plus 80%. So, I mean, that's, and you pay at the CPC. So I think it's definitely a quick win to add to your campaigns, and especially actually if you are using other display tools, I think, I mean, we can definitely plug in on top of it. And then in terms of other features that we have, I mean, I talked earlier about DSA with static headlines. That's something that is very unique to us. And again, I mean, I already said that, but it's amazing in terms of editorial and having like the ads that you want. And also in terms of, we have action extension that allows you to have like CTA straight away on the ads. And one of my little favorite, I have to say, is video extension. That's like a very, very nice way to have like to put your ad on top according to your competitor, and making sure that actually you have like a video starting straight away from the search engine. And I have to say that's also a quick win, because if you do like any video, any TV ads, for example, we will be able to take this video and set it up. So yeah, I think, I mean, there is a very interesting feature that people should try.
I think the video is definitely an interesting one. I mean, two reasons. I mean, pretty much anyone who's ever done social advertising will know video trumps static by an order of magnitude in terms of engagement, just by pure human nature of visibility and catching attention. But also, I mean, within search itself, I mean, very often our combined search strategies across paid search and SEO will be about real estate and SERP dominance and encouraging the click-through rate. So that's something that, yeah, increasingly we're seeing people use, and having it in search is, yeah, hugely unique.
Yeah.
Okay, so
sorry, if I can just add something on that, I think, I mean, we are talking like a lot about the customer journey, and actually, I mean, and a brand awareness. I think it's very important if we have like this kind of action extension or video extension to have like a full communication, and that's why it's very important for us to be aware about the media plan of our clients, just to make sure that we are fitting all the features that make sense according to their communication strategy.
Perfect. Good stuff. Okay, getting towards the end of the time. So in terms of, you know, if you had to give sort of 3 bullet points of advice to advertisers for the next, looking ahead for the next few months, as we work towards, was it the 21st of June, which I'm sure we've all got stapled in our diaries. What sort of things would you recommend? What are the sort of the headlines of how they should be planning and looking ahead?
Yeah, I think, I mean, the first thing I will advise is that, like, be on top of your insights, you know, like, don't miss any information about your audience, about what's happening in your vertical. The third one is that be open, like, try to innovate. I mean, being creatives, I think we are like evolving in a very like competitive space. Like, I mean, especially right now, I mean, in terms of retail, but you want to be there before your competitors. So that's very important to work on the strategy, and don't be scared to be innovative. Actually, that's like strategy that paid off the last year. And yeah, and the third one will be definitely monitor the performance like every 2 weeks, just to make sure that you are aligned with what's happening, and making sure that you can always like get better and better performance.
Perfect. Okay, so a couple of questions we had from attendees. So within the hub, yeah, one of the key things. So I'm going to add to this myself. How do you spot if let's say your car insurance or flights to New York? How do you spot when maybe the traffic's a bit cheaper? Is that sort of information in there? Because when's the point to start getting in early when traffic might be cheaper? Is that sort of information within there? In terms of the COVID hub, centralized data.
Yeah, you will have like data about like the trend that happened in your industry. So meaning that, yeah, you can have like some deep dive into like some specific, I mean, car insurance, for example, pet insurance. So yeah, you will be able to get this data and see like the trend. And again, I mean, if there is like a specific trend that you are looking for, I will definitely advise you to reach out to us, because we can definitely help on that.
Okay, perfect. Okay, if anyone's got any more questions, do just feel free to pop them in. Otherwise, we'll start wrapping up. So Marion, thank you very much. That was very useful. I think I'd highly encourage everyone to have a look at Microsoft's COVID hub, those trends. I think more than anything, having just a universal source of truth for these sorts of things, where you can just find everything, very useful. I know that we get asked for a lot more this year than most years for trend analysis, insights as to what's going on in any vertical. So we'll follow that. We'll follow up to all attendees with that link to have a look at that. But other than that, thank you very much, everyone. Hopefully that was useful. And Marion, thank you very much for the time.
Thank you for having me. Have a lovely day.
Bye-bye.